Aloha, everybody. My name is Kristin Mitsu Shiga, and I am a metalsmith, and I'm excited to share with you my studio tour today. Welcome. Okina Jewelry, which is my studio and gallery, is located in a small shack just behind Gypsy Gelato and Strawberry Patch in Kealakekua. I feel really fortunate to be in this space, which I spent most of 2019 transforming from this, a dirty storage shed, to what you'll see in the rest of this video. And I just want to say that this transformation could not have happened without the support of great friends and many gallons of paint. When you first walk in, the first little area that you'll see is actually the retail space. So I have one jewelry case that's quite full. And everything that you see is made right here. I'll talk about that a little bit more. I also have a little sitting area. This is where couples might sit to have a wedding ring consultation, or I also keep all the latest issues of magazines like Metalsmith magazine from Snag, and of course all my school catalogs like Donkey Mill, Haystack, Penman, Arrowmont. So people can kind of come in and learn a little bit about what the art of metalsmithing is all about. I also do some sketching here. The jewelry case has many different items in it, and everything kind of changes because all of this gets put away every day. So you can see much of this online. Everything that I make here from scratch. So it's almost 100% recycled materials, and sterling silver, and 18 karat gold and 14 karat gold, lots of different colors of gold, and gemstones. I was trained as a traditional metalsmith, so learning to make things like teapots, but mostly jewelry is what I make now. Now, my studio is not very big. It's perfect for one person to be here full time, but it still can get very full very fast. So you'll see I have a lot of stacks of things, stacks and stacks and stacks. Everything's either hung up on a wall or stacked up on top of each other. This is my jeweler's bench, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Lots of trays stacked on top of each other. This is my office space. I do a lot of research for my pieces. I've been really enjoying the research side of my work, and I do a lot of sketching as well. So for example, right now you can see I'm doing research on traditional kappa patterns, tapa stamping patterns. It's a book I got from the library before they closed. And then I do a lot of work with Hawaiian constellations, and again I'll show you some images and some works in progress. This is my soldering station. So traditionally jewelry, we're using torches, fire, to be able to heat up the metal and join it together using an alloy called solder, silver and gold. So lots of equipment that ends up coming up with that. My kiln, which is what I use for burning out for casting, lost wax casting, and some other small tools. Again, I use kind of every square inch. Those of you who have taken classes with me before will recognize I always love having a chalkboard. That was from a soldering class. These are my student benches, or guest benches, for visiting artists or for students who want to study a little bit more one-on-one. I also teach make your own wedding ring workshops for couples. So sometimes I have couples sitting at these benches. The benches were made actually from an old solid core door that was left in this space that I inherited. So they're nice and sturdy and very heavy. The other thing that I love to show is a little bit of my inspiration. Remember those kiave thorns? That's the original, real live kiave thorn. Of course, the kukui nut. I'll show you a piece that I made out of finished kukui nut. And I love the vana texture. That's another one of my favorites that I cast in porcelain and in sterling silver. I'm also making books. trying to reuse some of the boxes that we have in our lives now that we're not recycling paper. So these are all hand bound. I think I talked a little bit about my constellation series. Here you can see this is sterling silver that's in an adze shape, traditional adze shape. And you can see the different constellations. This one's Makali'i. So the first thing I do is I drill holes. First I saw out the shape, of course. And this is going to have a little bit of a curve to it too, so that's my next step. And then everywhere that there's a drilled hole, I'm going to go back in and set these little diamonds in the shape of the constellation. And then these get finished with Hawaiian cordage. Again, traditional. This one's an 8 braid. One of my favorite things that I get to do as a metalsmith is that I get to make custom wedding rings for couples. And it's pretty amazing to get to spend time with couples. I try to spend time with them each individually and kind of get to know what their style is like. Obviously, I want to make something that they like to look at, but also what their lifestyle is like, what their life together is going to look like, because I'll be designing something that in theory and hopefully they'll be wearing on their hands, which we use every day for the rest of their lives. And it is both a lot of pressure and also just a huge honor to get to be able to do that for people. The other service that I get to provide for couples, this ties into kind of that value thing that I talked about, that I think is unique, is that I can use metal from their family's heirlooms, from other jewelry. The thing that I love about working with metal is you can just melt it down and start over again. So that's what we often do with the wedding rings that I make. We'll actually start out by using metal that's been contributed by each family, which by itself I think just has amazing power and spirit to it, and then melting it down and milling it and either carving it or casting it or fabricating with it into something new that then again can be passed down to the next generation. I think that another reason that I felt so at home here instantly was because I'm Hapa. And of course, the Hawaiian culture is so woven together with Japanese culture that I just felt like I had kind of found my people. I find myself very inspired both by the island and by my Japanese heritage. So one of the techniques that I use a lot, and also kind of just conceptually that I use a lot, is called kintsugi, or kintsuguroi, which means in Japanese golden joinery or golden repair. So I have a whole series that I called Unfinished, Damaged, and Broken. It's a more conceptual, sculptural side of my work, but I bring it into my production work as well. So in my jewelry, this is an example. This is an earring. It's sterling silver, but as you can hopefully see, there's a little bit of gold right here. And that gold is actually the joint that holds that piece together. It's made from one piece of wire that I made into a shape and hammered. And that's 18 karat gold that I weld the piece together with. And that weld joint, normally in jewelry, we try to hide it. We try to hide the connections. We try to hide the process. And with broken items, you try to hide them, right? We all have something to hide, right? Things that are cracks. And I love the concept of kind of celebrating our history and making it something to be revered instead of something to be covered up. So I use that concept in my work quite a lot. What first brought me to the Big Island was an invitation, actually, from Donkey Mill Art Center to come and set up a metal studio and program. And of course, I eventually moved here, and my friends on the mainland all said that, oh, she's moving there because it's paradise. And yes, as you know, in many ways it is paradise. But the reason that I was drawn here was actually the people. I feel so blessed to be part of such an amazing and supportive Arts Ohana, and Donkey Mill is a huge part of that for me. So Mahalo, arigato, thank you. And I hope you'll stop by and see me at Okina when the dust settles. Until then, go easy. Aloha.